Hello guys, just a quick video here off the cuff. So don't expect one every day, but I got a few minutes. I'll tell you what I've been up to. This strimmer, it's a Mountfield. I made a head for it, and it goes like stink. Very powerful, but it vibrates a little bit. But after about half an hour, she seems to get really hot and slow down, and I think it's semi-seizing or something. It's whether whether the mixture is far too lean or there's something else, I don't know. But I didn't do much to this one other than make the head. So I thought, well, I'll try and sort it out again and fuss it. I come to start it the other day and it won't. It won't. It will not. So I thought, aye, what's wrong with this? So I opened up the butterfly, did a little squirt of Easy Start. I don't normally use that stuff. I don't. Last resort. But I got a good spark, pulled it over, and it still didn't want to know. So we're going to investigate this. But unfortunately, it uses these little torque type. These things, what do you call them? Those ends, I think you call them torques. I mean, why do they have to keep inventing these damn things? Well, I suppose they've been out a long time. But nuts and bolts are fine, but no, we have to have special fittings, Well, these, only just a cheap set. I mean, they're awful. You can't get a proper purchase on them. They've got like a rubber here, and that bit revolves. I mean, they're good enough just for fiddling up carbs, but if they're a bit tight, you can't shift them. So I looked through all my odd bits. I've got millions of those, loads and loads of those things. You know the sort of thing. You've usually got trays. There's usually a couple missing, and they're the bits you want, aren't they? And I didn't have a specific one for that, so oh crikey. So I thought I'll go and get something if I can find it. Well, I went to B&Q. Yeah, I know what you're going to say, but you can't get decent tool shops anymore. They're gone. They're finished. Hardware stores of my day are just, well, there might be in big cities, in London or what have you, but round here it's got to be B&Q or something similar. So I trotted along to B&Q, and you can buy a big set of all sorts of plastic rubbish and screwdrivers, 58 piece for 20 quid or something, all in a plastic box that when you open it they spool over the shop, made in China, the usual crap. And I was getting really peed off with this, and I thought, you can't even buy what you want, There was a one screwdriver made by Stanley, which I think was that size, and that was $9.99 for one screwdriver, and that had these plastic cushion handy. Who designs these things? It's certainly not people that use their hands. Certainly not. Why do they make it so you've got a pistol grip or a ratchet? Or if you go the other end of the scale, you've got some highly overpriced, far too thick lashings and lashings of chrome plate. You just don't need it. You just want good basic tools, and you can't seem to get them. Anyway, I thought I'll blink and won't make something up, So I went through all my little bits to try and find the right fitting, and well, I couldn't find the exact one. Some came close. So as I say, trip to B&Q. Well, one till open, the usual thing. They usually pick the one with the glacic expression to serve on that till, don't they? Anyway, I had a look round, and there was, well, the prices were just silly, and there was nothing approaching what I wanted. There was a pack of them. How much were they? I don't know, some ridiculous price, 8 or 9 quid or something. And it just simply gave me the one tool I wanted, just the one. And I thought, I'm not paying that just for one. And I wandered over to where they do all these Dremel tools, and have you ever seen the prices of the silly little tool? A bit, oh God, you know, double figures anyway. Anyway, I come as a surprise, I saw those. The middle one's the size I want. They're called Star. Anyway, T20, T25, T30 by 50 millimetres. They're made especially for B&Q, so they're made in China or God knows where. No name on them. There was one of those to a packet here, and that was $9.99. It had a little gold bit of paint on the end, or perhaps it was real gold at that price. And then the other side of this, there was 3 in a packet. They were made by JCB, so it said. I think they were about 14 quid. What? You know, it's crazy. Anyway, these are 50p. So I thought, surely not 50p. B&Q don't sell things for 50p. That's got to be a first, isn't it? Anyway, there's more of them, and the number corresponded to the number. So I went up to the checkout. I said, how much will computers say they are? 50p. I said, oh well, I'll have them then. So I bought those. Don't really want the lengths. I can see they're handy, but I can cut those in half. Anyway, I made myself up a tool. And I got one of these things. I'm sure you've got some. And there are 2 types. And this type has a magnet to hold the tool. But there's another type, a type I've used on the end of this, which if you look at the end, it's slightly wider one way than the other. And that holds a little tiny spring, like that. It's a devil of a job to get out and a devil of a job to see, but take it out in my case, because I brazed that on here. I drilled a piece of steel in the lathe, put one of these in without the magnet, and then brazed round, so that's all in line and so forth, and then cross drilled and put a key on that end. And it's a plain, simple tool that you can, you know, it's ergonomically right. You can apply a bit of torque to it. It's a pleasure to use, a pleasure to hold. It's well, you either get a feel for tools or you don't. If you do, you know exactly what I'm saying. But it took me an hour or so to make that this morning, and I'm very pleased I did, and I spent 50p. And there's the receipt to prove it. 50p, I still can't get over that. I said to the guy, this is the first time I've ever come out of here and been surprised how cheap something is. You know. Anyway, we'll investigate this and find out just what's wrong. But I'm pleased with that. I know it's simple, I know it's silly, but it's not plastic. Don't know if anybody else would appreciate it, but I certainly do. It's going to have a pride of place up there. Okay, enough of me waffling on. I did that as a quickie. I find it quite strange how people value things and the value of money. I'm a poor old chap and tight to boot, so I think I know the value of money, and I reflect back. I know one shouldn't, but that's a threepence. Okay, that's 3 old pennies. Well, you got 4 of those to a shilling. You got 20 shillings to the pound. So if you work it out, that's 240 pennies. So that represents 1/80th of a pound. Along comes decimalisation, and there's 5p. We now have 100 pennies. No, not pennies, 100 pence to the pound. And there's 5 of them. So that represents 1/20th of a pound. I've known the time when you could buy a comic with that. You could buy a bar of chocolate with that. This, today, won't buy you a box of matches. At 1/20th, you need 10 to buy that box of matches and get a penny change. Crackers, isn't it? Or put another way, as time goes on, money is worth less and less and less. So much so that the shake up the decimal means that 5p is worth nothing.